The gang rolled into the gas station like a storm, engines growling, boots stomping, the kind of entrance that turned heads and made people look the other way. Except one. She was sitting on a rusty metal bench outside the convenience store, feeding crackers to a fat pigeon. Her silver hair was tied in a tight bun, her glasses rested low on her nose, and her floral print dress fluttered in the breeze like it hadn't noticed the danger rumbling toward her. Her name was Edith Mayfield, 74 years old, lived alone in a creaky farmhouse on the edge of town. Most folks knew her as the lady who baked pies for church raffles and once chased a raccoon out of her garden with a broom. No one, not even Sheriff Lane, knew about the steel underneath that sweet smile. The gang's leader, Rocco, was everything you'd expect from a biker who went by Bone Crusher. 6'4", bald, covered in prison ink, with a goatee so long and greasy it could have had its own zip code. He spotted Edith sitting there, unbothered, unafraid, and that rubbed him the wrong way. "Hey, Grandma," Rocco sneered, stomping up to her. "You deaf or just dumb?" The pigeon flew off. Edith looked up at him, her smile never fading. "Neither, dear. Just deciding whether you're worth standing up for." The gang behind him chuckled, but Rocco didn't. His ego was a landmine, and she'd just stepped on it. "You got a death wish, old lady?" Edith stood slowly, brushing crumbs off her lap. She looked up at him, barely reaching his chest. "I buried a husband, 2 brothers, and raised 4 boys who tried that same tone with me once. You don't scare me, sweetheart," Rocco snarled, getting closer. He leaned down, finger in her face. "One more word and I'll—" That's when she grabbed his beard, quick as a snake. Her fist shot up, latched onto his beard, and yanked. The air left his lungs in a startled grunt. His knees buckled. He wasn't being pulled by force. He was being pulled by shock, because no one had ever done that to him. Ever. She leaned in, lips inches from his ear. "That's your warning." The gang froze. Some started laughing. Others just stared. Rocco's face flushed red, not from anger, from humiliation, and he couldn't break free, not because she was stronger, but because letting go meant accepting that he'd been bested by a grandma in a sunflower dress. Suddenly, the laughter died. One of the bikers, a younger guy with a snake tattoo on his neck, took a step forward. "She's just an old hag, Rock. You want me to—" Edith let go and stepped back. "Go on, then. Step up." The guy hesitated. She didn't look like a fighter, but something in her eyes. It was the look of a woman who'd faced worse. War, loss, a hard life full of harder choices. And won. "I thought so," she muttered. Rocco straightened up, rubbing his chin like it had been scorched. "You think you're tough?" Edith tilted her head. "I am tough, but more importantly, I'm right, and I only fight battles that matter." Then she picked up her cane, not because she needed it, but because she was done talking. "You boys want a lesson? Or gas?" she asked, nodding toward the pumps. "Because if it's a fight you're after, I suggest you go home and ask your mothers first," another biker muttered under his breath. "She's crazy," but none of them moved. Rocco looked around. All eyes were on him. If he walked away, he'd look weak. But if he stayed, he'd risk losing more than just his pride. He clenched his fists, then stepped back. "Let's go," he barked. And just like that, the gang climbed onto their bikes and roared off, the thunder of their engines echoing behind them like retreating drums of war. Edith sat back down, the pigeon fluttering back to her side. She tossed it another cracker. A week later, a letter arrived at her mailbox. No name, no return address. Inside was a note, written in shaky pen. "Thanks for reminding me what strength really looks like." Our Edith smiled. Maybe there's hope for the world yet.